Hey guys, and welcome to Picks and Parlays right here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. You can check us out here any weekday, 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific, or check us out anywhere on the web, 24/7. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and of course, the mothership, picksandparlays.net. That's where we keep all 35 of our expert handicappers armed with the best information to make you money, honey. All right. Like I said, my name is Allie Burns. You can find me at Plus Money Honey. And today we have got a fantastic show for you. I've got Sean Higgs. He's going to be talking MLB odds and predictions. We're going to follow that up with Damian Sosh. We've got 4 really big, really killer college basketball matchups that you are going to want to be on the right side of. And we'll finish things up with Craig Trapp and his NBA Rapid Fire. Before we get to all that, let me tell you about a little promo code we're doing. It's HOOP15, and it'll save you 15% at checkout. I don't know what to do. Yeah, keep going. Don't stop. You know, one of the things I really like about these shows that we do is you get a chance to kind of interview a few of the handicappers that we have without having to spend money on them. And then when you're ready to move up to that next level, start spending some cash to make more cash, you kind of have a good idea of what guy is your guy or girl and who you want to roll with. We have some of the best information in the business. We can guarantee that. And 3 of our best cappers are going to be on the show today. A lot has happened in the baseball offseason, and talking about that is going to be an ongoing thing until spring training begins, because people are moving around so much right now, and it's really important that you know where everyone's going before you start laying down monies on odds and futures. So we're going to get things kicked off in just a moment here. I'll give you a minute. Grab a pen, grab a paper. There's going to be a lot of information for you to absorb right now. And don't forget about that promo code HOOP15 to save yourself 15% at checkout. All right, I will be right back with Sean Higgs, and we'll be talking MLB baseball. Hey guys, and welcome back. As promised, I have Sean Higgs, and we are here to talk MLB predictions and odds. Now, a lot has happened in the offseason, Sean, especially everyone's talking about the Astros. And I know that the fall of the Astros did not just affect them, it affected the Red Sox, it affected the Mets. So talk to me, Sean. What are you thinking? What do we need to know?
Well, like that whole Astros first. Hi, Allie. Nice to see you today.
Good to see you.
First time with you doing the live with you like this, so that's good.
Good to meet you.
You know, the whole garbage can, it's just crazy. Everything about it. You see these videos all on Twitter, ESPN. It's just insane. So I don't know. I mean, how do you even handicap that? How do you even go into that? I look at it more. Listen, you lose Garrett Cole, Verlander's 40 years old. That's kind of stuff I look at. You know, right. I mean, how's the pitcher going to hold up? It's going to come down to pitching for them. And speaking of pitching, I mean, Bumgarner out of the Giants. Cole, here we go. You know, he's with the Yanks. Kluber's on Texas. I mean, big names moving. So listen, a lot of numbers going to be crazy. I went to this places by me, Caesars, Will Hill, Borgata, all 3, all different numbers all over the place. I'm sure you have different numbers.
Yeah,
it changed by the day. Too. Yeah. So listen, it's fun to talk about now. Most people don't like to tie up hundreds of dollars in February that they're not going to get back till maybe November if there's, you know, playoff games or rainouts, whatever the case may be. But there's still money to be made. You know, some of these teams are bad. We got divisions. You know, it's a lot of things to look at. A lot of things to look at here. So where are we going to start? You want to do
well,
go ahead.
I find a lot of value in things like season win totals more than I do betting, you know, future bets on the World Series this early in the season. I could see maybe a pennant bet, but World Series is a little much. So what do you got for me on regular season win totals? Anything you like out there?
I do. I got 4 for the show here. I like right off the bat, Orioles 56.5. They're just a bad team. I don't see them improving. Again, that's just a bad team. You're playing the Yankees, who are good. You're playing the Rays, who are a good team. You know, they're projected to win 90 games. Blue Jays are improved, and then you got the Red Sox. Now, they're projected to win 88.5 games. They leave for spring training today or tomorrow. They don't have a manager.
Right.
That's a team I'm looking to go under their 88.5 wins. And besides the fact he got no manager, Betts could be traded. Who knows what's going on with him? That's a big guy to lose.
We're all on Mookie watch right now.
Yeah. I mean, they're talking about him going to Padres, maybe the Dodgers. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's again, you got a guy's an MVP guy. He's an MVP guy, and he's going to be on the move.
The Red Sox weren't really that great last year anyway. You know, everyone expected them to be so good last year, and they were kind of pathetic.
Pitching. You got Price, you got Sale. A lot of money tied up into these two cats, and they're definitely not coming anywhere near that. I think Sale's pretty much done. I think he's a lot of mileage on that arm.
I cashed a ton of money on him last season, fading him last season. Cashed a ton.
Right out of the gate, I mean, the guy's laying 3-4 to 1 against Seattle right out of the door, and it was just downhill ever since. Usually he fades late. He was all season. Again, that'll be somebody I look to fade this year too. Him and Price, you know. Couple other unders here. Giants. Again, Bumgarner's gone. This is an old team. Longoria, Brandon Belt, the catcher, Parker, Buster Posey, Samardzija. It's just Cueto.
Is Posey gone?
Guys
or
are
he's
injuries.
Just old?
He's old. I think. Come on, you're taking. Even if you're not catching.
No, I was just making sure you weren't
Belt.
saying he was gone.
Oh no, I'm saying
something.
no. I meant like just old. I was going to the old angle with Longoria guys.
Right.
You know, a lot of tread on the tires here. And if he's not catching, then you're taking Belt out of the lineup. So you're losing another decent bat for them. So under 72 there in the Giants. And again, new manager there. You know, what's going on in that team? Right. That outfield, terrible outfield. And the Cubbies here. Maybe people high on the Cubs, 86.5. That's a tough division. I see them. They're second in the current odds to win the division. But in posted wins, they're behind the Cardinals, who are picked third to win a division.
Yeah.
So numbers all over the place. But again, Lester, Darvish, Katana, Hendrick, Chatwood, these pitchers, all with issues surrounding them for me. So 86.5, big number. You got the Brewers. Cardinals are always a solid organization. They do what they can to win every year. And the Reds made some improvements. We can't, leave the Reds out in the cold. They've improved a little bit. So those are the 4 unders I like for team totals.
All right. Just a few minutes left here. Who do you like? Give me some World Series wins that you like.
So it's easy. We can talk about, listen, I'm a Yankee fan. I can either say, hey, let's go Yanks, but I'm going to look at the Tampa Bay, 14-1 to win the AL, 28-1 World Series. I'm going to take these. I'm not even money, plus 2-1. Okay. I'd rather have the Yanks come out slow out of the gate, and then you could pick up, like you were saying. You don't have to lock into these early because the team's down. Next thing you know, they're left for dead, and they come back and win, 18-22, and they're in first place. You get a better odd, like the Nationals, left for dead, win the World Series in May.
Right?
Nobody thought they'd be there, and again, Nationals. I don't know. They're gonna repeat. You lose Rendon. It's a big bat to lose. I'm liking the Braves, 10-1 to win the World Series. There, 5-1 in the NL.
Braves.
They're a tough little team. I can't listen.
And they were young and they work really well together. Team is the key word there.
Yeah, and it's just a talented team. But you're in a tough spot. How are the Nats going to respond? Scherzer, Strauss, Corbin. You got 3 good guys there. 3 good arms. The Mets. I feel bad for my Met friends. I mean, I want them to do good because they're a local team, but holy cow! Now the guy might not buy the team. Now I was reading that just before.
Beltran's gone.
Yeah, that's right, right? I don't even know who's managing him. But you got DeGrom, you got Thor, you got 2 good pitchers. But again, they're the Mets. Do I expect much out of them? No, I think I expect a little more out of the Phillies. Actually, I see them. They're 3-1 in their division. That wouldn't be shocked to see them battling with the Braves. They had a bad year last year. First year for Bryce, but listen, Girardi in town, that guy can motivate some guys. He knows how to work a clubhouse with big egos. So I expect the Phillies to be improved.
Who do you like for, say, the home run title? I'm seeing Trout at plus 850, Pete Alonso 10-1. Do you have any picks in that area?
Alonso, Bellinger 10-1. How about we go? I'm going to go a little, I want to say Judge 15-1, but I don't know about him. How about a little, is Josh Donaldson 100%? Is he healthy? Him at 100-1?
I'm not sure of.
Betts. Sanchez at 100-1. Gary Sanchez at Sanchez. If he's 100%, that guy was crushing it 2 years ago, and then he got a little banged up, and he's not the same guy. But again, it's easy. First of all, don't throw your money. Giancarlo Stanton 8-1. Do they have a crystal ball that this guy's gonna be healthy? That guy never plays more than 130 games.
That's very true.
I'm just waiting for the prop again. They put it out when he first came. Him and Judge hit 100 homers. I think they hit like 40 between them. I mean, come on.
Right.
But it's tough. I mean,
I was thinking
I don't want to give out an easy
like a lot
20
of
to 1.
times.
How about Nolan Arondo 20-1? Orlando for the 20-1's a nice little number. I don't give out a short number. 20 number is a decent number.
That's true.
Colorado, big bad. He could hit 40.
Yeah.
So we'll give Nolan 20-1 here. I got him at the Will Hill down in Monmouth Park on the sheet.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking of it, I've been in-gaming a lot. Like I don't take the opening dog number. I'll wait a few minutes and then into the game and then get them at a bigger number. Is it that way to go with the World Series bets, you think, kind of in-season play them?
You know what? Listen, after last year with the Nationals, why wouldn't you wait? Why?
Right.
Guy blow out their arm. I mean, we've seen pitchers go down. And that's, listen, the Yankees lose, Paxton or Sevy gets hurt again.
Yeah.
How do those World Series odds change?
Injuries are
there's a big
real
trade
thing, and they make a huge difference in the game for sure. That does wrap up our time here, Sean.
All right,
but
nice
thank
chatting.
you so much for the picks. Thanks for the advice and the input, and I will see you next time. I'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
All right, guys. You too. All right, guys. We'll be right back with Damian Sosh talking college basketball for you. Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Allie Burns. You can find me on Twitter at +moneyhoney. I've got one of our newest handicappers with us today. It's Damian Sosh. I was checking him out at picksandparlays.net, where they rank all of our handicappers and how well they're doing. You, sir, are ranked like number 5. You're crushing it. And if you guys have been taking his picks in the past 7 days, I think you're up about $600 right now. So, hey, Damian, how's it going?
Hi, thank you. Things are going pretty well. The new year's off to a good start. Looking to keep it going, obviously.
Yeah, that's all we can hope for, right? Well, we've got 4 great college basketball matchups. These are big ones. These are ones I'm going to watch regardless of if I have money on them. But of course, I'm going to have money on them. So help me out with that. I'm going to take you first. We're going to do the Big East, all right? Villanova at Butler. Both of these teams are coming off a loss, but they're both ranked. Villanova's 10 in the country. Butler's 19 in the country. Villanova's 2 in the Big East. Butler is 5 in the Big East. Villanova's coming off a really embarrassing loss to Creighton at home. Butler only a 4-point loss to Providence. I'm showing Butler -2 and the total at 135.5. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, looking into this game, I think it's going to be a really, really close game. It should be very good, very entertaining. As you mentioned, Villanova losing to Creighton, kind of embarrassed, 76-61 at home. Shot the ball very poorly in that game. It's kind of unusual for Villanova because they're very good at executing their offense. They don't really, they play at a slow pace, but they do have 5 players averaging double figures. So I was a little surprised to see just how poorly they shot the ball in that game. This Villanova team, though, it's not as deep as in years past for Jay Wright. Typically, during Villanova's title runs, Jay Wright, he went routinely 8-9 deep. This team only has 7 guys really that average 10 or more minutes per game. So fatigue's an issue. If guys get into foul trouble, it's definitely going to be an issue for this Villanova team. Butler, you mentioned, lost Providence 65-61. They don't want to lose two in a row at home. They're a veteran team. They start 3 juniors and 2 seniors. However, there is a big injury right now for Butler. It's looking like Aaron Thompson, he's missed the 3 previous games due to injury, wrist injury. Actually suffered in the Villanova game the first time they played. It's looking like he's day to day, but it's looking like he's not going to be able to go for Butler. And he only averages 7 points a game, but he's the point guard. Everything goes through him. He gets the team into their offense. He gets the offense flowing. Without him, Villanova is going to be able to focus more, shutting down guys like Kamar Baldwin. Then they Creighton's 3-point shooters like Jordan Tucker. I'm sorry, Butler's 3-point shooters like Jordan Tucker, Sean McDermott. Villanova won this first meeting 76-61. I don't see either team really scoring a lot of points in this game. As I mentioned, Villanova plays at that slow pace. Butler looking like without a starting point guard. I actually like the under as my play in this basketball game.
All right, under 131 and a half. Yeah, you got to win those home games. You really got to win those home games in conference. So we'll see what happens there. It's going to be a good matchup. All right, we're going to move over to the Big 12. All right, we're going to do Iowa State. They're 9-12 against West Virginia. West Virginia is on my radar for sure. They're 17-4, number 3 in all the land, number 13 in all the land, and number 3 in the Big 12. Iowa State is in the bottom 3 of the Big 12. They've been miserable, and they're 0-6 on the road. West Virginia has lost 2 of their last 5, but they are coming off a 66-57 revenge win at home against Kansas State. I'm showing West Virginia -11, the total at 145. One thing I will say is Iowa State played Auburn, Baylor, and Texas Tech, 3 really tough teams. Is 11 points too much in this situation?
Looking into this game, I actually like West Virginia laying that number.
Okay.
Iowa State, they've lost 3 in a row. They're just 2-6 in conference. They do have one of the better players in the country in sophomore Tyrese Halliburton. He's as a projected NBA lottery pick. The kid averages over 15 points per game, and he shoots the ball well on the road as well. He shoots about 44% on the road, so he's a very nice player. The problem is he's kind of, with Iowa State, their offense as a whole actually is pretty good. They average 75 points per game. Their defense is the issue. They give up 70 points per game in conference. West Virginia, obviously, as we mentioned, ranked number 13 in the country. This West Virginia team, it kind of reminds me of the old Bob Huggins Cincinnati teams. They're big, they're physical, they're tough. They'll really come after you. And I see that in this West Virginia team. They're a team that gets it done on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they're holding opponents to just 59 points per game and 35% shooting from the floor. At home on offense, they're averaging, that's very good. Offensively at home, averaging 77 points per game while shooting 45% from the floor. So they really like their home court, and I don't see them really having any trouble scoring against this Iowa State defense. I mentioned earlier about Iowa State putting up 75 points per game as an offense, but when you look a little bit closer into the numbers, the teams that you mentioned earlier that they played, games against Baylor, Texas Tech, Kansas, they only average 57 points per game against those teams. They're all in the upper echelon. They all rank in the top 4 defensively in the Big 12. West Virginia ranks number 2 defensively in the Big 12. So I see them really being able to limit Iowa State on the offense. And like I said, West Virginia shouldn't have any trouble scoring against this Iowa State team when they have the basketball.
All right. Okay, let's move over to the ACC. This is a really lopsided matchup. We've got Wake Forest, the Demon Deacons. They are 10-11 for the season and dead last in the ACC. That's a big hill to climb. They are coming off a win against Clemson. It's a bit of an unexpected win, but in their last 5, they have not been playing the toughest of schedules. Well, here it comes, your big test. You get to play Louisville, and they're number 1 in the ACC. They're number 5 in the country. They're on an 8-game winning streak. Most recently beat NC State at NC State by 20 points. They're 12-1 at home, 10-1 in conference. I'm showing Louisville -15. The total started at 140.5, but now it's at 142. Is this a play on the total, or you like the side?
Yeah, the total's rising in this one, but I actually it's a big number, but I like Louisville laying the points in this one. As you mentioned, Louisville's ranked number 5 in the country, 19-3, 10-1 in the ACC, first place in the ACC. Wake Forest coming off just 3-8 in conference, coming off a rare win, as you mentioned, against Clemson, a 56-44 score. So I'm sure that game was very exciting. But Clemson
Was
couldn't
on
make
the
a
edge
shot.
of my
They
seat.
Clemson Exactly. I'm sure everybody was. Clemson, they couldn't make a shot in that game. And Wake Forest is the type of team that they're going to let you shoot it from deep. If they do that, if they have that same philosophy against Louisville, they're going to get killed. Louisville, they're sixth in the nation, 3-point field goal percentage, better shooters. Ryan McMahon, Jordan Nwora, and Darius Perry, they all shoot over 40% from beyond the arc. So if if Wake Forest is going to stick that philosophy, I think Louisville really lights them up. There's been one knock on Louisville is that they don't turn their opponents over enough. However, they've been starting to add more pressure in recent games, and we are starting to see more turnovers that they're forcing. And Wake Forest, there's only been 2 games all season where they haven't had 10 or more turnovers. They're the very prone team. I just think it's a bad matchup for Wake Forest, and I like Louisville. Even though it is a big number, I like them laying this number at home.
It's that kind of conference, you're in or you're out, but if you want to be in, you better come to play.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, that's just it. All right, so the last one I've got for you, it's a Big Ten matchup. I don't know how I feel about this one because both of these teams have impressed me and both of them have kind of unimpressed me at times. I'm talking about Wisconsin and Minnesota, the Golden Gophers. So Wisconsin is 13-9. They're 7th in the Big Ten, 3-5 on the road, and they're coming off a 1-point win at Michigan State. I actually in-played that and got Michigan State plus 8.5. Thanks. They were up. Wisconsin was up on Michigan State 43-27 at the half as 5.5-point dogs. Now they're rolling into Minnesota. My thing with the Gophers all season is I don't really care about them on the road, but when they're at home, I do pay attention. They're 11-10. They're 10th in the Big Ten. That's a lot of tens. But they are 9-2 at home, and that's what I'm talking about. They're coming off back-to-back losses. The last one was by 8 to Illinois, and that's a very good Illinois team, by the way. This is a team I really do love to play as a dog, but here they're a home favorite, -2.5 to -3. Total was at 126, and it went down to 124. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, the Big Ten conference seems like a conference that it's almost impossible to win on the road for a lot of teams, and I do like Minnesota at home laying this number. You mentioned Wisconsin coming off the upset win over Michigan State. What made that impressive is they did it with only 7 scholarship players. Brad Davison, he was suspended by the Big Ten for a flagrant foul that he committed, I guess, in the game previous. And they also did it without Kobe King. He's actually their second leading scorer, averaging nearly 13 points per game. He decided to leave the program.
Oh, wow.
Minnesota, yeah. So that was definitely a big blow. So that's what made that win against Michigan State all the more surprising. Minnesota coming in now, they've lost 2 in a row and 3 of 4. And you mentioned Illinois, a very good team that they lost to by 8 points. Daniel Turo, though, he's having quite the season for Minnesota, averaging 20 points per game along with 11 rebounds per game. The Gophers, they're really desperate for a win, they're at home. It's a tough spot for Wisconsin. They're able to overcome all the adversity against Michigan State. They're going to get Davison back, but I think the blow, losing King, the second leading scorer at this point in the season, now you got to go on the road at Minnesota, team desperate for a win. I like Minnesota here laying the points at home. I think it's a tough spot for Wisconsin.
Yeah, Richard Pitino has really done some amazing things with that team. He's really put them on the map in the past few years. All right, Damian, well, that just about wraps it up. Thanks for the picks. I plan on making some money with them tomorrow. All right, we'll see you next time.
Thank you, me and you both.
Cheers. All right, we'll see you next time, Damian, and we'll be right back with the NBA Rapid Fire with Craig Trapp. Hi, and welcome back to Picks and Parlays. It's time for that NBA rapid fire I've been promising you. With me as usual, I have El Jefe, the head honcho, Count Trappula. It is Craig Trapp. Craig, how's it going, man?
Excited. These are the times of the year where you got to start building your bankroll. You're in between the Super Bowl and in between the next big event, March Madness. And man, you need a big bankroll because March Madness is not just one game. You have multiple games, 50 plus games. Well, that's just the week of the March Madness, and the week before, another 100. So big time to build a bankroll, and I like these NBA games for Wednesday.
All right. Okay, well, let's get started then. We'll start out with the Pacers and the Raptors, all right? The Pacers, 31-19, 27-21 against the spread. They're on a 2-game losing streak, and both of those games were at home. First the Knicks and then the Mavericks, and they're 13-12 on the road. So I'm not loving that, and I'm really not loving that they're going to face your beloved Raptors at home, the scariest place to play Toronto. Raptors are 36-14. They're 29-21 against the spread, and they are on an 11-game win streak. That's no joke, people. Look it up. I averaged their win margin in the last 5 games, and they're averaging 13 points more when they beat somebody. And here we're going to find them only -6. What do you think about this? The total's at 216.
Well, I don't like the way this Pacers team has been playing. That loss at home to Dallas without Luka, it was a pretty disappointing loss. Also, Victor Oladipo's back now finally, which they've been kind of holding on all season. You get back your superstar, and then you kind of lay an egg there. The loss, obviously, to New York was just as bad the game before that.
Who loses to New York?
Right, and then their one win, in their last 4 was against the struggling Chicago Bulls team in overtime. So I have to take the Raptors here -6. Toronto at home is like
it's money.
It's almost
it's
free
gold.
money. I'm not saying it's free money. Don't go get crazy here, but I really like the Toronto Raptors. It's probably gonna be my best play tomorrow. So you're getting it for free here. Toronto Raptors -6. I just think the Toronto at home, they're finally getting healthy. I don't know what this team really needs in a trade, but I think they're probably going to be active at the trade deadline because you look at this team, they're clearly, in my opinion, the second best team in the East behind Milwaukee. And we saw what happened last year. If you have the home court edge, both in the, last year Milwaukee got beat by the Sixers, so that could happen again.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to move to the Hawks and the Timberwolves. I am not thrilled about this matchup, I'm going to be honest. So I'm going to need your pick so I have some betting interest on it so I can watch this game. So the Hawks are a piss poor 13-38. They have a lot of injuries, most notably Cam Reddish is out. He's out for tonight at least. We'll see if he's out for tomorrow. DeAndre Hunter is day-to-day. He's a big one as well. They have lost their last 2 at Dallas and versus the Celtics, and they're a pitiful 5-21 on the road. T-Wolves are 15-34, and they have lost, are you ready? 12 games in a row, okay? 12. You're freaking professionals, gentlemen, all right? Pull it together. Jeez. They have been playing some tough teams, but this is a little bit outrageous. They're only 6-18 at home. So what am I missing? Why are the Timberwolves a 6-point favorite? Is it because it's like unheard of to lose 13 in a row?
No, that's not the case. I mean, the Hawks obviously day-to-day is Reddish being out, and then who are we looking here is day-to-day. Trae Young, Trae Young's day-to-day. That's the big thing. Trae Young, of course, is going to be starting in the All-Star game. He's their superstar. He needs to go for 50. When they win, he's getting 40+, and 50, I think, was the Kobe tribute game where he wore the number 8. I like the over here. I just think you don't overthink this game. I just don't like the Timberwolves. Like you said, they've lost all these in a row. Hawks haven't been a whole lot better. Hawks have given up an average of over 120. They've given up 123, 123, 117, and 130 in their last 4 games. So they're giving up over 120. I think the Timberwolves easily get 120 in this one. Timberwolves are not a whole lot better. They've given up 113, 118, 133, 113, 131. So this is a team that gives up points in bunches. I think Trae Young will play here. I expect this line actually to come down to in that 4 to 4.5 range. So I think that'd be more where you probably thought it should be.
Right.
Once Trae Young has announced that he's definitely going to play, I think that'll move. But either way, I like the over 236 here. I think the Timberwolves roll and break that win. But I think it's the over that's the better play.
Yeah, I like that too because I mean both of them are clearly in need of a win, and you know how you win basketball games. You make baskets.
Well,
that's
Karl-Anthony
how you
Towns
win.
also is, he got the All-Star snub, and he's, kind of been poo-pooing about that. So this is his chance to prove a little bit that he's against a All-Star starter, that he's worth it, and I think he'll put up a big game tonight.
All right. Well, we shall see.
Also, this is don't forget about the Timberwolves. D'Angelo Russell, of course, they've been linked to him for even in the offseason before he went to Golden State, but now it sounds like they're active again trying to get this done before the trade deadline. It sounds like it's going to have to be a 3 or 4 team trade because Golden State doesn't really want back any of their players. They want back some draft picks and to get some relief on the salary cap, so I expect that to potentially happen. So Timberwolves maybe have some help coming.
All right. Well, they certainly need it.
Yeah.
Certainly. ASAP. Okay, so let's move right along to Memphis and Dallas. Memphis 25-25. Andre Iguodala is listed as day-to-day. I'm not sure if you have an update on that. They've won 4 of their last 5. They're 10-12 on the road. And they're meeting Dallas at a pretty opportune time because Luka is out, as we all know, probably for, the rest of the month pretty much, right?
Well, it's he's out probably for middle of February at the worst.
There we go. So he'll be gone a while.
Well, I think they're going to play that pretty safe here. Obviously, he's 19 years old. So.
Yeah, and there's that.
Yeah.
So despite not having Luka, Dallas, they're 31-19. They have won their last 2 games. They're coming off a 112-103 road win in Indiana. We were just talking about that. And they're coming back home, or they have a 14-12 record. They like to play there. I'm seeing them start at -5 down to -4.5, and the total's at 229. How we gonna handle this one, Craig?
Well, of course, the Mavs our Grizzlies are in the news for sometimes the wrong reasons. Right now, Andre Iguodala, of course, has been sitting out the whole season. He wants them to buy him out. They want to try to trade. Teams are waiting to who knows if he'll get moved. Of course, Dylan Brooks came out and kind of, called out Andre Iguodala like we can't wait till you get traded so that we can go after, play against you and show you up. Which I thought was a little classless because Andre Iguodala is a true professional, and you're, a young player. Him and Morant then called out Steph Curry. So wrong reasons to be in the news sometimes of these young players. But I do like the way this Grizzlies team plays. They play a lot of up-tempo games. The Mavs team, obviously, we already talked about it, played that big win at Indiana last time out. I like this over as well. I know it's high, 229.5. You don't have Luka. It sounds like Curry, the other Curry, not Steph Curry, but
the one that went to Duke, not Davidson.
Right. Is Seth Curry is questionable. Sounds like he'll probably play, so that would help. I think this is going to be a really high-scoring game. I don't know how they stay in front of Morant. Without Luka. Without Curry, I mean, they just are going to be decimated. I think the Grizzlies could win this outright, but I think the better play is the over 229. If you're going to tell me I had to pick a side, I'm going to take the Grizzlies plus 4.5.
I like the plus points there as well, although it is worth noting that Dallas is only a half a game behind the Rockets in the Southwest, so they are kind of, they've got to keep up there even without their guys, so
I just think
they will be playing hard.
Anytime you get over, like the first couple times you don't have your superstar, you can get up.
Right.
And you, especially on the road, sometimes you really pull it together as a team.
Right.
And then you come back home. It's against a Grizzlies team that's young and upcoming, not nearly as as good as the Pacers. It's easy to have that let down.
Yeah, because fatigue is going to set in too. As a team, you've all got to contribute and pick up that lost weight, and that weight gets heavy after a certain amount of games.
But I do like this Mavs team. I really like this Mavs team. I think this team will probably be active for I don't say cheap, but inexpensive help on the bench, and they could use it right now, to be honest.
Yeah, indeed.
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to do the Miami Heat at the LA Clippers. Miami 34-15. Justice Winslow's still out with a back injury. They're embarking on a 6-game road trip. This is game 1. They are 12-12 on the road as of now. They're at the top of the Southeast Division. They're ahead by 12.5 games. They won their last 2. 137 to 106 against the 76ers. So that was impressive. And they're going to face the Clippers, who are 35-15. Everyone's healthy on that team. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They've also won their last 2 against the T-Wolves and the Spurs. They've been at home for a while. This is going to be their 4th home game, as a matter of fact. 21-5 at home is their record. Showing LA at -6.5 and the total's at 223. Lay it on me.
Yeah, you know, I really like this Heat team. I mean, if speaking of the
you
Sixers,
have all season.
Speaking of the Sixers, I mean, the effort that they've been showing, especially against this Heat team, their last 2 games. I mean, it's pitiful when you have the talent that the Sixers do that they don't play like this Heat team.
Right.
They're missing Jimmy Butler. Of course, Jimmy Butler was on the Sixers last year. He has that bulldog mentality that, you know, he was a late draft pick, you know, had to always prove it, and now he's turned into not just a great defender, now he's a great leader, great offensive player. I love Jimmy Butler. He's a lot like Kawhi Leonard. He's like a poor man's Kawhi Leonard, I think. Well, I don't know if he's poor man because he's a max contract guy now,
right.
So he's not poor as far as dollars, but he doesn't have the respect because Kawhi has 2 rings and considered maybe the best or second, third best player in the league. I like an upset here. I think I would take a little money line here. I'd take the 6.5 points, probably what I call a 75-25 split. So I would do 75% with the plus 6.5 in the Miami Heat, and I would play 25% on the money line here. I just think the Miami Heat have continued to play well. I love their rookie hero too. I think, unfortunately, it sounds like if they want to get help, which they need, I think you know, big man help sounds like maybe even Clint Capella, that they might have to give up Hero to get him. So that would be questionable, but I do like the way he's playing right now. I like this Heat team. Let's take the Heat here.
All right, the Heat is on. Okay, so let's talk real quick. We've got a few minutes left. 2 games that I couldn't find any lines on. They're not out yet.
Yep.
So we're going to talk Orlando and the Celtics. The Magic are 22-28. They're on a 5. They were on a 5-game losing streak before they just won in Charlotte. They're 9-16 on the road. All their players are healthy. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the Magic because I really kind of liked them for a moment in the season, and then it feels like they went back downhill again. They're going to be at the Garden in Boston. 35-15 are the Celtics. They've won their last 4 despite being without Kemba Walker. Jason Tatum is crushing it. He continues to dominate. Who do you like in this one?
Well, just quickly, I know we're running out of time here, but I like this Celtics team. I expect the line to be about 7 points. I like the Celtics. Like you said, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, great, you know, what I would call the Robins. They're, you know, the Batman is Kemba Walker.
Right.
These guys are great number 2s. I love the way they're playing. They have a ton of depth, so even if Kemba's not out, I still like this Celtics team. Brad Stevens, lay the points here with the Celtics. I think it's going to be between 5 and 7. I'd still like it even up to 7.
Lay the points with the Celtics up to 7. All right, well, I like it. Okay, guys, that was it for free picks from your NBA Rapid Fire and from Craig Trapp. Check him out at picksandparlays.net and sit tight. I'll be back in just a minute with all the picks that we've gone from all of our handicappers, from all the handicappers throughout the entire show. So take a minute, grab a pen and paper, and we will be right back to refresh your memory on all these free picks we've provided you with today. All right, guys, welcome back. I hope you got your pen and paper handy. We're going to recap all of those free picks from throughout the episode. Okay, so in our MLB segment with Sean Higgs, he's saying for some season win totals, we got some unders for you. Take the Orioles under 56.5 wins. Take the Red Sox under 88.5 wins. The San Francisco Giants under 72 wins. And the Chicago Cubs under 86.5 wins. Now, we're going to also look taking for the AL pennant, Tampa Bay at 14-1, and for the NL pennant, my beloved Atlanta Braves at 5-1. and is picked to win the whole dang thing. World Series winners take the Dodgers at 6-1. Up next, we had Damian the Omen Sosh with some college basketball picks. He says at Villanova and Butler, take the under 130.5. Iowa State, West Virginia, take West Virginia minus the 12. At Wake Forest and Louisville, let's get on Louisville minus the 16. Wisconsin and Minnesota, lay the 3.5 with the Golden Gophers. All right, and then up next, we had Craig Trapp with our NBA Rapid Fire. Craig says to take his beloved Toronto Raptors minus 6 at home, take the over in the Atlanta Hawks Timberwolves game over 236, and take the over in Memphis at Dallas 229.5. Thank you guys so much for joining us here at Picks and Parlays, and don't forget to use that promo code HOOP15. It'll save you 15% at checkout. We're here every Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, so don't forget to check us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit like and subscribe so you can be notified anytime we post a new video. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Allie Burns. This was Picks and Parlays. Bet, win, repeat.